record-setting territory. Amazing how long it has been. Now, there's no lack of snow in upstate New York, where the lake effect machine has been working overtime in the wake of the low-pressure system of Winter Storm Jerry. And our Mike Seidel is there. Mike, how well are the road conditions improving to allow folks to get around and get to the game today?
They're in pretty good shape, especially outside of what's left of the band. You know, snow-packed and snow-covered. The throughway was fine. It was wet and snowy when we came through, but then we came out of the band. We're looking at the band off to our north. A few little flakes you may see on camera, but by and far, we're not expecting any significant snow today here at Highmark Stadium. Go to the radar. Scott Peely is at the controls on this holiday, and you can see that band. It doesn't go very far inland like yesterday. It's not as meaty, and it's drifting north into Buffalo. Still snowing at the airport, and then it will move up towards Tonawanda and towards Niagara Falls. Let me take you back, excuse me, to yesterday. It's about 5:30, not far away in West Seneca. This is our live location, and look at the snow in the wind. This is when it was snowing 2 to 3 inches an hour as the wind was blowing 20 to 25 miles an hour at times. It was just coming down incredibly hard. And then the band kind of broke apart by the time we were done around 8 to 9 o'clock. And things improve, but overnight more snowfall, and it just keeps adding up. Now, excuse me, this cold weather. There's the stadium, and you can see what we got going. They didn't get to shovel out the entire stadium, so there's still a fair amount of snow in the stands facing in our direction. Temperature right now is 12 degrees and wind chills around 0, so it's a cold, cold day here at Highmark Stadium. Forecast for the game, Dr. Nab, temperature is warming up a few degrees. Wind will not be a major issue. I don't think snow will be a major issue. The major issue is that the Bills are 9.5-point favorites. That's a huge spread against the Steelers. If they do win, they'll be back here next weekend against the Kansas City Chiefs. Dr. Nab?
All right, Mike Seidel in Buffalo, thank you so much.
Our own Mike Seidel is in Orchard Park, New York, where the fans, I would imagine, Mike, they're already out there. They're already partying. You jump into any tables?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet, but I'm thinking about it.
Okay.
There are a lot of
Make sure the cameras are rolling. I said make sure the cameras are rolling.
No, this is not made for TV, live TV. Anyway, back to on topic, stay on point here after last night. We will be dealing with the cold air, as you mentioned. We have a little sun poking out. The band is now to our north. But look at this, not too far away, northwest of Hamburg, 41.3 inches where we were last night. 37 inches just outside of West Seneca. So big snowfall totals. The roads are much, much better today, except if you're in that band we've been showing you, which is now rolling through the city of Buffalo, still snowing at Buffalo Niagara International Airport. The Steelers in town to take on the Bills. This game was supposed to be played yesterday, but they moved it to today because of the snow. And boy, it did come down very, very hard. Let me show you some of these Bills fans. These are Bills fans over here, mostly Bills fans in this lot. You can see how they're bundled up and staying warm by drinking their favorite beverage. I don't see any hot chocolate or cocoa or coffee over there. But you know the drill here, tailgating. Buffalo Bills and Steelers, 4:30. The Bills are favored as we go on through the afternoon. We'll keep you updated on the weather, but right now, cold, mostly dry. Winds will not be a factor at the game. We'll come back and talk more about the impact on the wintry weather. Boy, down in Nashville, Memphis, what a storm for the Deep South. That's coming up in a few minutes.
I want to check back in with our Mike Seidel. What is expected is snow in Orchard Park, New York. Fans are already gearing up for the big game, just a few hours away. Had to wait a little longer for it. Mike, yesterday, obviously, in no place to get people traveling to and from Highmark Stadium, but today we're ready to roll.
Oh, they are rolling out here. It is getting noisy, and we're still, 2.5 hours before kickoff. On CBS, it's the Bills and Steelers. Highmark Stadium behind me, and we've been talking about the fact that they were trying to get volunteers to make $20 an hour to shovel out the stadium. Well, they didn't get enough volunteers. Maybe they weren't paying enough. I don't know, Alex, but you can see from here there's a fair amount of snow in the stands looking from this angle at Highmark Stadium. So. It's a dry, powdery snow. It's not a heavy wet snow. That makes it a little bit easier. But, But the trick is to get it out of the way, maybe sit on a piece of cardboard. And I wanted to check back because it is cold today, even by Buffalo standards. It's right around 12 degrees and wind chill 0. But Buffalo did have the 7th coldest game in NFL history, January 15th, 1994. And it was the Bills taking on the Raiders. You know those Raiders fans were cold. It was 0 at kickoff and 32 below 0 the wind chill. Now that game gets pushed down to number 8 because the Chiefs game the other day is now at number 4, I believe. So anyway you look at it, it's a cold day here, but it's not as cold as we've seen in NFL history. The Steelers, well, they're coming into town. Most of the fans just drove up here from Pittsburgh, and the Bills are 9.5-point favorites. If they win next week, speaking of Kansas City, the Chiefs come here to Highmark Stadium in Buffalo. We'll keep you updated. We'll have the forecast and a new winter storm watch just posted.
No lack of snow on the other side of New York, up in the upstate, where the lake effect machine has been working overtime. And Mike Seidel, who's there near the stadium, looks like you got a lot of folks there who have waited for a while for this game, but are very happy the day has come.
Yes, indeed, and they are bundled up. These are Bills fans, of course. Yeah. And this is how they're staying warm. This is how they're staying warm. They've been doing this for years. They got the old-fashioned wood fire. We've got some sliders warming up over there. And we've got Madison, who is a season ticket holder. Madison, I know the Bills are big favorites today. What about staying warm? How are you doing it today? How many layers do you have on?
Right now I have 3 pairs of pants on. I have probably 5 shirts on, but we have more in the car. I'm actually kind of hot right now.
Well, you're in front of this big crackling fire.
That's the way to do it.
Okay, but you were at a colder game a few years ago, right?
Yes, 2 years ago, the Patriots playoff game here was colder than this.
Well, that's saying something. Right now it's 13, the wind chill is 5, so not the coldest game in the history of the Bills. We got a little sunshine, which is not going to do anything to warm us up. Who else are we talking to? Oh, Pete over here. Now, Pete. Well, we noticed. Hold on. Don't lose control of the situation. We noticed that a lot of the stands have not been plowed.
No.
You think it's because it was only $20 an hour?
Yeah, I think they needed to raise the price to 40.
What would you pay? What would you shovel for?
40 would be
$40 an hour?
Free ticket.
Yeah.
A what?
Or a free ticket to the Bills game.
Well, what's the ticket situation?
Right now, this morning, my friend got one for $60. With
Really?
fees included.
And
Yeah.
With fees included, $60.
That's not bad. Well, the
No.
Chiefs game, they were cheap too, but the wind chill was 30 below 0, and the kickoff temperature was at 4 or 5 below 0.
I got one last Wednesday. Center, it was 50-yard line, but it was like $150.
That's a good price.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. And like it's right down the center.
Well,
up in the 300s.
You think it's because of the forecast of the cold?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Buffalonians are hardy, but
And what about the fact
Snow.
that the game moved from yesterday to today? Some people are working today. Think some of those tickets went on the market?
a lot of people are working.
Yeah.
You know, it's a big difference.
Start my
You
first
know,
day tomorrow.
a lot of people are taking off work too, though.
But next weekend, no doubt you'll be back here playing the Chiefs, right? Nice. Okay. There you go. Alex, Dr. Nab, we've got Bills fans. We got the nice fire. Woo, that's a toasty fire. Keeping us warm out here.
Yeah, Mike, you know that Pittsburgh and Buffalo fans, they are full of tradition, full of energy, and the cold is not going to stop the energy from flowing, as you can see.
10 miles an hour. And speaking of, what do you say we get back out there to Orchard Park and Mike Seidel? Mike, we're just a few hours away from game time, 2 hours, so I got to imagine the parking lots are getting awfully full.
They are. The sun is peeking out. It's not going to do much to warm things up. We're at 13. We may get up to 15, maybe 16 degrees today, but it's a cold one. Winds are running at about 10 miles an hour, so wind is not going to be a factor with the kicking game. They have cleared off the field, but I want to show you the stands as Joe Flicari zooms in over there. Remember, we were talking about they were offering $20 an hour to come and shovel the stadium out. And, well, they didn't get enough shovelers. Of course, it did snow until late yesterday, so they've been shoveling for a day or two. So some seats still have some snow on them, at least looking at the cheaper seats higher up. But we talked to folks earlier, and they were able to get seats for $50 to $100. One reason is because the game was moved from yesterday to today. A lot of people have to work it also because of the weather. I want to show you what they were doing there. Not only shoveling, but look at this gentleman decided to go down the snow chute at Highmark Stadium with his shirt off. With temperatures in the teens and low 20s and wind chills in the single numbers, there's always one guy, and he got his run in there on the chute at the stadium. Snowfall totals, top total not far from here, near Hamburg. Get this, 41.3 inches, but it was very isolated. That band set up right over Erie counties, mostly central Erie County yesterday, and just dumped on us. Today, much better, as Bills and Steelers kick off 4:30 Eastern here.
In upstate, where the lake effect snow machine has been working overtime the last couple of days, that's where our Mike Seidel is. And Mike, you've been tracking that lake effect snow band. Where is it set up today?
Well, it's set up by the airport in Buffalo and just south towards Lackawanna this morning. We drove through it to get here at Highmark in Orchard Park, and now you can see it's moving from Buffalo north in towards Niagara, Tonawanda, those areas, up to the north, Niagara County, and that's where it sits. Right now, we've got cloudy skies. We also have a lot of Bills fans, including Ramon Cruz from Buffalo, a long time. You've been here all your life, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what's your take on the weather today? Because you're a Buffalonian, you're used to the cold and the snow.
Oh, yeah, no, it's warm. It feels real good today. It's a good day for football. Tell you that right now.
Were you disappointed they postponed the game one day with all the heavy snow yesterday?
No, I'm glad they postponed the game just because, you know, for safety of everybody else. But we're here right now. We're going to be playing some football. It's safe. There's no, you know,
nothing swirling.
There's nothing going around right now. Nobody's in jeopardy of losing their lives like they did last year. And we're here to play some football. How
many layers do you have on?
Well, I'll show you.
You don't have to take them off.
Yeah, but I'll show you. This right here is one layer because JA-17, that's our quarterback.
That's all you have is two layers on.
That's it. That's all we need.
I want to ask you one more question. As you noticed, they didn't shovel out the whole stadium. They were paying $20 an hour. What would have it taken, what kind of offer per hour to get you in there yesterday to shovel?
I'm not going to shovel.
So it doesn't matter, huh?
No, it doesn't matter because whether that stadium is cleared or not, I'll be there.
And you'll be a Bills fan. Thanks for joining
100%.
us. Go Bills!
Go Bills!
Okay, there you go. Ramon Cruz enjoying the tailgating, no doubt. Meanwhile, Dr. Naber, as we throw it back to you, we'll go in on the stadium. Fans now in the stadium, sitting in the stands. You'll notice they couldn't get enough volunteers to shovel at $20 an hour. Dr. Nab, I want to ask you what it would take, because you've lived in a lot of warm climates. Would you take a pass and say, no, you can't pay me enough to shovel snow in a stadium?
I think you'd have to add some zeros for me to be shoveling the snow in that kind of weather. Now, interestingly, Mike, the Philadelphia Eagles playing a game tonight, but it's not in Philadelphia. If it was, there'd be snow for the Eagles game tonight, too, but they're down in Tampa. So let's talk about the weather in the Northeast, because it is getting snowier
in the area. And our Mike Seidel is there in Orchard Park. Mike, you've been walking around the tailgates. What's the most interesting way people are staying warm?
Drinking. Let me put it
Is
one
that
word.
interesting or novel?
Well, not at tailgating, but yeah, the word for today is booze. Hey, you know, we're not surprising anybody. It's a tailgate, so they're staying warm. Not everybody's drinking. I'm not drinking. Meanwhile, let's show you the stadium. We'll show you the fans going in. Kickoff is 1 hour away, and the fans are rolling in droves on a day that's going to feature relatively light winds. The stadium, you can see folks in the stands, and also notice they did not get all the snow shoveled out of the stands. They offered $20 an hour, but that didn't pass the muster, I guess. Meanwhile, I want to take you back to yesterday afternoon and evening. This band set up, this mega band, right over central Erie County. This is our location in West Seneca, about 5:30 yesterday. And look at that snowfall, 2 to 3 inches an hour. By the way, I just got the update from near Seneca. They're up to 41 inches from the storm from Saturday morning through now. And nearby Hamburg from here, not far from here, had 41.3. So some big totals in a narrow band. Now we have a winter storm watch up for more potential snowfall, a foot or more between tomorrow and Thursday morning across the Erie County, Genesee, and Wyoming counties. More on that coming up.
And our Mike Seidel is right near the stadium where the Bills and the Steelers are going to be kicking off. And Mike, generally speaking, as far as you know, have any fans and others have any trouble getting to the stadium today?
Not that I heard of. The Steelers fans, of course, a lot of them, just about all of them, just drove up here. And Bills fans are local. The roads are in much better shape than yesterday, especially because the band over Erie County has left Erie County now, for the most part. It's now north of Buffalo. So a much better driving day today. And that's the reason they moved the game to today, because of not so much they can't play in the snow, but for safety reasons and getting to and from the game. There's the stadium, Highmark, filling up now as the sun sets here in beautiful Orchard Park and the snow belts. You'll notice in between the fans there's still snow there. They did not shovel out all the snow. They didn't have enough, I guess, folks to show up for $20 an hour. I don't know if that's a lot of money or not. I know when I was a kid, I was shoveling a whole sidewalk and up to the front steps of a house for $1, and that was a lot of money. Of course, that was like 60 years ago. Meanwhile, let me show you what it looked like at Highmark Saturday evening. Now, keep in mind, it was 40-something and raining in Buffalo early Saturday morning. But look at the video the Bills sent out on Twitter early in the evening on Saturday. I mean, just a whiteout situation. And that was one of the reasons. And now look at the video we shot about this time yesterday. It was a little later, just after sundown, in nearby West Seneca, where they have just checked in with 43 inches of lake effect powder. The top number is still nearby Hamburg, not far from here, 41.3 inches. The total they reported here was 18. I think that's a little low. And by the way, it was 30 years ago today, the Bills' coldest game on record and the 8th coldest in NFL history. January 15th, 1994, it was 0, and the wind chill was 32 below 0 as they played the Raiders here. At that point, it was Ralph Wilson Stadium. So, Dr. Nab, a perfect Buffalo football afternoon, as temperatures will stay pretty much about 14 or 15. Not a lot of wind, so that'll keep the wind chill basically where it is, around 4 or 5 degrees. The sun is setting, and no snow impact today, fortunately.
Mike Seidel in Orchard Park, New York, thank you so much.
Our Mike Seidel. Are you the loneliest guy in the parking lot now as everybody's made their way into the game? Can you hear the festivities?
Yes, I can hear them roaring right now. Look at the stadium filled up. The kickoff is coming up. In fact, they may have just kicked off. I don't know. I can't see the game, but I can't see the field, but I can hear the roar of the crowd, and it is just after 4:30 Eastern time, which was the scheduled kickoff. I now see fans scurrying up the street, the fans that are running late trying to get into the game. Sun is setting here in Buffalo. Temperatures are in the mid-teens. They'll stay there for the game. Wind chills are in the single numbers, generally about 3, 4, 5 degrees. Wind is not an issue. Snow is not an issue. So it's a good thing they really moved the game to today. It was more for safety, not because the Bills and Steelers can't play in snow. They've done that a long time. As far as the radar goes, again, that band has been shifting north of Buffalo through the day and the afternoon. So we've turned it off. The roads are in much better shape today. Now, we do have a winter storm watch from Tuesday morning through Thursday evening. So that's a 2.5-day watch, and some spots may get up to a foot or so of snow. So it's spread out over 2.5 days. There may be some spots that get more, but we're not looking at the totals that we had with this one since Saturday morning. So for about 2 days worth, 48 hours, we had spots here nearby Hamburg and also in West Seneca, where we were yesterday, picking up just over 40 inches of snow. That was impressive, but it was a very narrow area and not nearly as much fell in the city of Buffalo. These are the favorite areas, the south towns, because of the wind direction tends to be more of a southwest versus west-southwest coming off the lake right into the city of Buffalo. So a good day for football under the lights here as the sun sets here in western New York. And we will certainly see who wins. The Bills are favored by 9.5 points. If they do win, they'll play here next week versus the Chiefs. And right now, they're thinking that game would be Sunday, the high next Sunday here in Buffalo. Cold, but 20 degrees.